It's my first day ever in Petra, Jordan. I got here late because the bus takes most of the morning to get here from Amman. And today I actually want to talk about what I learned working in the food and dining industry while showing you around this Middle Eastern country, which really fits the part. So the reason I want to talk about this, I know it's kind of random, is because it is related to my career and because I think it is quite fun to talk about, but also informative for my LinkedIn audience. So I used to work in food and dining as a busser mostly, but also as a server. And the one thing I learned was surprisingly, a lot of people didn't really care about their customers or their work. One time I had this coworker, and she'd been working for over 20 years at the same place. And it wasn't just like a regular place, it was a fancy country club. This was a fairly established country club, supposedly one of the top 10 in the nation according to some rankings. And I was working there, and this was one of many instances where I could just see she didn't care. So basically, as the busser, I just bus used dishes back to the kitchen, and I sometimes bus the food from the kitchen and serve it onto the table. To make a long story short, I get a number 1 through 4 on which edge of the table I serve the food. I deliver the food. The man with his wife just busts out, gets very upset, very angry, and says, "This is like the 10th time this has happened where the food is served to the wrong person." I apologize, and I don't try and rationalize or explain it in front of him. I just say, "I'm so sorry about that. I'll get this handled, and I'll figure out what went wrong." I go to the server, and mind you, she's someone who's been working here for 20 years. And I check the numbers, and it turns out she had marked the wrong number, which is easy enough to do if you aren't that thoughtful. So basically, it's a 4-sided table, so there's 4 numbers, but you can get mixed up which one's one. And it would usually be something like, okay, the one that's northeast is 1, but then sometimes people confuse that and they think northwest is 1. So point is, I checked the numbers, I checked everything. I had gotten it right, she had gotten it wrong. But of course, it's not the right move by human nature. And if you read Dale Carnegie's books, to criticize them, especially in front of others. So I think I just go up to the customer, and mind you, this was like 15 years ago, and I say, "I'm so sorry, it was human error." So I don't point to her and say it was her fault. I just say it was human error, this is why it happens. And because he really wanted to know, this guy was apparently some type of IT systems engineer, and that's another discussion on whether some guests at these places should be so outraged at something so small. But point is, I think it was a legitimate thing, and I want to get fixed. I try and talk to her, try and explain, this is really important. We need to get the numbers right. And you could just tell. I can't remember if she rolled her eyes, but it was that type of reaction. Whether she rolled her eyes or not, the rest of her body language had that type of vibe of I don't care. Who cares? Her vibe was, "I'm not going to get fired from this. I've worked here 20 years. Who cares what this guy thinks?" And it was just a general indifference and apathy that she brought along to her work. It wasn't so much that she would get fired. I mean, she still showed up on time. She still got her job done for the most part. But these little extra things of really making sure the customer is happy, she just didn't care about. And I think that bled through to other employees who were there for many years. Many were immigrants who had come from Africa, Ethiopia to work. And I don't know, I just didn't really like that vibe of not caring. So after studying a lot of successful companies and successful people, I think really it comes down to having an incredible product or service, and then a system, a company that can deliver that at a good cost with low expenses. And you got to instill this culture of caring, truly caring about the customer. And at the time I was there, being the lowest level busser, I knew I couldn't change that from the inside out. So to wrap up the story, I just kindly tell the manager about the situation and how it could be fixed in the future. I don't think I mentioned my coworker. And you might guess how they reacted as well. There was a bit more caring, but I don't know if they really cared that much. They were just like, okay, cool, thanks. But yeah, that's the story, and welcome to Petra.